Good evening. Good evening. Let's try this again. Good evening, and good evening, Warriors on a Mission. I didn't have a scripture today, but I've just been thinking about some things just about all day today. What do you do when you realize you're blessed? That's what the question is today. We're about to go into the new year, and just the fact that we're sitting here on New Year's Eve means we're blessed. I don't know what you go through, but I'm sure, like most, we go up and down into situation after situation, and some things you feel like you have a little control over, and some things you feel like you don't. But what do you do when you realize you're blessed? Well, what I've been thinking about the last 15 hours or so is that my blessings don't always come, very rarely, if you really look at it right, it don't always come from the outside. What do I mean? Material things. A lot of my blessings come from, and this is what God is beginning to open me up to, understanding that my blessings are coming from within. Those are the greater blessings. And you say, hey man, speak for yourself. I got a need, and I want a car, and I need a job, and I need all of those things. But what do you do when you realize you have those things and still don't have peace? So my question is, what do you do when you realize you're blessed? I started understanding that, there probably for most people always be a search for money. Well, what do you do when you have all the money you need, but you still can't find peace? And then there's those that, say, man, if I just could have this one or two things. But if you've been around long enough, once you get those things, it may satisfy you for a little while, but after a period of time, you find yourself yearning for something else. Well, God has begun to show me financially, as well as other things, that your peace, those things that come from within, those things that God provides, will bless you more than anything else. I said something about financial need. God was sharing some things with me earlier today, where he was beginning to explain to me that I don't need your money. Yeah, I'm saying, listen, I'm not trying to say anything against those that may give offerings and whatever you may be doing to, the building. That's fine. I'm not talking about that. But God was letting me know, he's reminding me, I don't need your money. I don't need your money to bless you. You can take all the money in the world, but if you compare it to God's favor, you can walk around in this life and never need another dollar, because God can open favor up to you, and you can walk in that favor, and it will supply all the needs according to his riches and glory. Peace, favor, God's favor. Financial situations, God can still press upon people's heart to take care of the matter without you even doing anything. That's God's favor. Healing, God's favor. Rest, God's favor. And so God began to explain that to me and let me know that while man is chasing money, if you just chase the things of God, he said, I'll supply all your needs according to his riches and glory. And oftentimes we limit it to the man's, please understand me when I say this, oftentimes we limit it to what man has to offer. But God is so much greater than that. God is so much greater than what man can offer you. And once you started detaching from the man's system, man, I'm not acting like I'm some crazy lunatic, but I'm letting you know that God offers greater than material things. God is greater than that. And I can't help but hear this scripture ringing in my mind. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all of the things will be added unto you. Y'all, oftentimes we're seeking so much of the things that are tangible, those things that man says we gotta have in order to succeed, and gotta have in order to survive. But God is saying, if you just look beyond and look at what I do. Man, there's things that man has been running for years to try to mimic what God does so easily. So easily. And so these last 15 hours or so, what's been happening is God has been elevating me out of man's worldly system of I gotta have in order to be able to survive, and realize God is greater than any need I can ever walk into. And then understanding that he's Alpha and Omega means he's already been there and done that. That if I rest in him, then the answer is next door. The answer is already laid out for tomorrow. The answer has already been set up for next week. But chasing the things of man will have you frustrated today, tomorrow, next week, and all the way up until the very answers drop into your life. Nothing changed the answer from coming, but your journey changed by the way you chased it. And so I speak honestly. I thank God for that. And although it's new, as a reminder to me, 15 hours ago, God started to open my eyes up to that once again, because he's done it before. But guess what? I'm like you, I forget. I'm like you. If I could just obtain the Bible in one reading, guess what? I could have put the Bible away a long time ago. But I read it daily because I need daily reminders. I seek him daily because I need to be detached from this world system daily. If not, I'll be stressed up and feeling like a failure. Stressed out and feeling like I failed. But God, man, he has a way of just detaching us to let us know you've already succeeded because you found out that you can rest in me. That was a status I used to put on back in the day as a signature on my text messages: rest in Jesus' peace. And although that sounds like a funeral, no, that's not what that was about. God began to open me up that if I'll rest in his peace and the things he's already provided, I really can just enjoy my day. I can just enjoy it. I can rest in it. I can rest in it. But you got to detach. You got to detach. Trusting God may sound like a cliche, but if you really start to do it, man, as he said, cast all your cares upon the Lord, for he cares for you. For real, what will happen is you really start to see how big our Father is? You'll start detaching. You'll start detaching from supplying your own needs and trust God that he's already done it. It's already written. Then what am I supposed to do? Just trust God and enjoy the present. His gift of today. And you know what the enemy's coming after? He's coming after your peace. He's coming after your joy. I wish my daughter was standing right beside me, because that's her thing. She rattles it off. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But you can't have him stealing your stuff when you remember that God's in control. When you start remembering that if you seek beyond what man says you have to have, and then you can just rest in Jesus' peace, what will happen is that attack won't work on you no more. You'll actually be able to come outside and recognize the sun and see that's a gift from God. Feel the wind blowing and realize that's a gift from God. They have been trying to mimic that for years, but they can't keep us so close. Y'all rest in it. Just rest in it. Yeah. We might make decisions and say, it's at 12:30, at 12 o'clock, I'm not going to do this and this, that, and the other. But guess what? Suppose you do. Suppose you can hold that for a good hour, and then 1 a.m. on January 1st, you blew that already. But you don't have to blow it with God. He knows what we're made out of. But I will say, be careful on what you decree to God, because yes, he gives us grace, but I don't think it's a good habit. Because when you realize how flawed you really are, then the only thing you really can rest in is just God's presence. I used to say that, God, if you do this, then I will do that. I can't bargain and trade with God because I'm not good enough. I never uphold my end of the bargain. So I stopped doing that. And so I just say this, just rest in God. Just rest in it, man. Just enjoy the gift. Yeah, y'all, we about to be in 2025. I can remember in 2000, they said, the world's going to end. Okay. Some of you won't even born in 2000. But I can remember that. And here you are, this close to 2025. Man, our Father, he never makes a mistake. He never makes a mistake. Y'all, I'm learning how to just rest. I'm in a level now that's above all of the chaos of the world. And I'm enjoying this level right now. I'm not going to say I'll be there tonight because I may need another reminder to get there. But right now, it's like something you may have heard me talk about before on Warriors on a Mission. The crabs in the bucket, and then realizing that God called you to be an eagle. That eagle looks down, and I hardly ever think, I would never think that eagle's concerned about all of those crabs in the bucket fighting and stepping on each other to get out. That eagle is just enjoying the presence of God and flowing in the wind. That's what God has called us to be. To rest not in fighting for day-to-day things that God has already provided for, but to rest and enjoy the presence, sowing in the wind and realizing that all my needs has already been taken care of according to his riches in glory. So what are you going to do when you realize you're already blessed? Look around. You're blessed. Detach from the care, detach from the worry. He said, cast all your cares upon the Lord, for he cares for you. Detach and rest. 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 I love y'all, and as we get closer to 2025, just enjoy it. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, detach. You may be even sitting at the hospital right now, praying and loving on a loved one. Cast all your care upon the Lord because he already has your tomorrow written. It's already done. Detach. Detach. And trust God. I love y'all. But I'm telling you, when we get to the point where we can rest in that level that God has ordained for us, you will see love so greater than what a man can speak out of his mouth. It was already lived. They call him Jesus. There's no one that compared to that walk. Think about it. There's no one that can compare to that walk but our Father and our big brother Jesus. They're one, you know. I love y'all. Y'all enjoy the day and rest. Have a great one. Bye-bye.